This is FNX.
Hello everybody and welcome to the SOGOpod. My name is Frank.
My name's Kinder.
Sponsored in part by the Silent Majority. We just cut all that out. So.
Welcome to the SOGOpod, everybody. Today on the SOGOpod cast. Yeah, it sounds fucked up, doesn't it? I thought about that the other day. Somebody told me, like, yeah, I listened to one of your SOGOpod podcasts. What the fuck?
Oh yes,
that's right. Yeah. We do a podcast.
No, we do a SOGOpod. It's different. Yeah. Podcasts have structure and
and funny people.
Funny structure and people and audiences and fan bases. I don't know. We have a decent. I mean, people need to realize they should
pretty cool.
Become our fans, because usually you just end up becoming our friend. Because
like
we don't have many
all
of
the fans
both.
that talk to us, we like regularly talk to, like Jeff,
like Jeff, Brandon.
And Brandon talks to us all the
guy
time.
on Twitter, Mark from Detroit. He's cool. Like, yeah, they just end up becoming like casual acquaintances because we don't have many fans or friends, and so you have to get them where you can. Love us.
Love us, Plucks. When was the last time you heard someone use Plucks?
Oh, God. Isn't that a game on the Super Nintendo? Plucks?
I don't know.
There's got to be a game called Plucks. If there's not, we need to make the game Plucks.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. I think it's like a puzzle game, like a Tetris-style puzzle game.
It sounds familiar.
Plucks. That's Plucks Comics.
Plucks. Anyway, today on the SOGOpod, we're going to be discussing the OculusRift, as well as, Frank?
StarWars.
I finally fucking saw it. Fuck you.
Finally.
I'm sorry it took forever because I have a family and a life and a job and a podcast.
I just took my family to the Star Wars.
I did too, and it was a disaster.
Yeah, it sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. I mean, because Damien, he doesn't know better yet.
Well, yeah. Penny was almost too young to realize she needed to sit down and not try to get in my lap or get in Carly's lap or eat all the candy in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, he was like really into it when shit was going down.
Right, but anytime people started talking and having
about the time. By the way, guys, fucking spoilers. Can't say that enough.
Let's we're going to start with the Star Wars talk. We're going to save Star Wars talk for a second segment.
We'll save it for the second one. We'll let it build up.
Video game related.
Yeah, we'll talk about Star Wars in a minute. Oculus Rift, so the pre-order has hit, and guess fucking what? $600.
$599 US. $599 US.
$599 US. $599 US. $599 US fucking dollars.
So I'm okay.
Fuck.
I'm okay with. I mean, I don't know what people expected. That's my thing. Like, I'm not one of these people. Like, I'm a big fan of VR. I'm not like a VR hater. I'm not sitting here like, fucking, God damn it! It's like I'm fucking birthing a baby over here. If you hear like Jabba the Hutt in the background, that's my stomach. That was Salacious Crumb.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, I'm not fucking Nero sitting outside of Rome watching it burn, playing a fiddle, because the pre-orders came out at $600. I'm a big fan of VR. I like the concept, but I think that there's I mean, I'm not going to sit here and try to enumerate the number of VR people there are, like the kind of people that were sitting here waiting on bated breath for the Oculus price tag to come out, because you had your people who are very pro VR to the point of it's almost like a cult-like love affair with virtual reality. I guess because their lives are so because their lives are so shitty that they need to go into a virtual one in order to sustain some kind of joy or happiness.
Let's try out these Nightmare Vision goggles. Everything looks the same. So yeah, fucking Oculus Rift is $599, $99.99.
Yeah, it just repeats.
Yeah, it's just like lying over it, extending,
exactly.
just to get that close to $600.
Right,
more
as close
shekels.
to $600 as they can. Well, $600 is the price tag they released it at, and that's that's their decision. I can't help but think that it would have been cheaper if they weren't bought by Facebook, but at the same time, maybe it would have been more expensive.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I understand. I get it. I'm really not that fucking pissed about the $5.99 thing, especially after reading what's his name, Palmer.
Palmer Luckey.
After reading Lucky's whatever
The
AMA
game's
on
named
Reddit.
after him.
Whatever. But after reading his AMA on Reddit, he really did explain well and didn't offer any excuses or anything. It's flat out said, "Look, I fucked up when I said that because
When he said
I was kind of getting pissed off at people." He was, in so many words, he said, "I was getting really pissed off at people." Saying it was going to be way too expensive or something like that. It was going to be thousands of dollars. And he was like,
"Yeah,
no, it's going to be this," and he didn't fucking know. He didn't really have a clue, but it was just kind of spitballing.
Yeah, we'll try to shoot for 400 or something like that. I feel like the issue at hand isn't so much people just don't seem to realize that specialty hardware for PCs is always fucking expensive.
Oh yeah,
even when you're just talking about what goes in the case. But also, accessories and peripherals. A fucking HOTAS flight stick it's
ridiculous.
going to run you $600.
Yeah.
And that's just to play a handful of games. A good fucking steering wheel and pedal set for a hardcore racing sim, that's going to run you $500.
Yeah, even just monitors.
Monitors,
you get a G-Sync or a FreeSync monitor, and you're over fucking $600 for one monitor
easily. Yeah,
and that might be
and
a
if you're
2K
wanting to
monitor
do dual
or
monitors,
like
now also they have these huge fucking 20x9 monitors now. These huge wide panel ones.
And if you do go multi-monitor, you got to worry about mounts and all that. So yeah, I get it. It's fucking expensive and all that. But what was going on was I was expecting it because of Facebook to be subsidized a lot heavier because they're
You
selling
would
it at a
think
loss.
they would go into a route that console manufacturers go on, where they're saying, "Well, we'll sell it at a loss of $350 for this thing that costs $500, but we're going to make it up in software." But I guess since there's no licensing on PC, they don't get to make it up in software, so they don't get to subsidize the price at all like that. Unless they subsidize it via some other method, like a contract phone style,
Oculus is being subsidized by Facebook. Probably going to be paid for by ads and shit. We're going to see it. It's going to happen. Sorry.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
I'll take it if it gets the medium off the ground.
But that's the thing, getting to the deeper, the root of the thing is, as I was talking about with you we had the whole conversation on Facebook in the comments on the Video Game Fiends group when this whole information broke.
By the way, shout out to Video Game Fiends, really great Facebook group. I'm actually an admin on there. And Marcus, however the hell you say his last name, is the creator along with Evan Hill. So yeah, go join that page. Have fun with us. Pump gas, blow up. Continue.
But the idea that getting it off the ground has to be left up entirely to Oculus is a really scary concept.
Right.
Because like I said, the only thing Oculus really accomplished since its announcement as a Kickstarter to today is letting faster growth, faster innovating, more profitable and more capital, companies with more capital eat their fucking lunch by rushing other VR through the fucking rushing it out the door faster than Oculus has. With
but at the same time,
thing.
you get the hype up about it, and you get these companies that are like, we need more funding to this fucking project, and they're like, fucking have it.
Yeah. Well, so, when you have the idea that you have the Oculus coming out, you have PlayStation VR, you have the HTC Vive, you have the Stardock has one Stardock VR. So there's bunch of other options out there.
So
and
the three major players we're looking at,
three major players.
Oculus, we got Vive, and we got PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
And if you really want to count it, HoloLens, but it's really AR, not VR.
Yeah, and I don't even think they're actually going to do anything.
I mean, they may or they may not. I'd like to see it.
The fact that like they got through all of Gamescom without ever mentioning HoloLens, and they had no competition at Gamescom because Sony was not at Gamescom, and they had a huge press conference and they didn't mention shit for HoloLens.
Yeah, which I don't think it's really going to be like a games thing. I'm thinking they're like kind of thinking along the lines of Google Glass.
Yeah. But I mean, even then, it's like it's a gigantic thing you wear on your face.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't obscure your vision like anything else, but like an Oculus or Vive.
At this point, I think there's a section of Microsoft R&D that's just like, let's just make cool shit. And then, never speak of it again once the budget runs out.
Yeah, but I think, and then that section of Microsoft R&D is sitting there saying, let's make cool shit, and you have the marketing department sees that cool shit, and it's like, let's make a promo video for it, and they're like, no, it's not, we're not doing this, we're just making cool shit. Like, that's how the whole Surface thing, like, when Surface was, when it was originally concept, it was like a fucking table.
Yeah.
And it's like, look at this fucking awesome table with this touchscreen, you put your drink on it, it tells you what's in it, and it's like, yeah, it's badass. And then it comes out, and it's like a fucking tablet.
It's a fucking tablet.
And
you see fucking the Luma Room, and then like the Kinect before it was like turned out to be Kinect 2.0.
Yeah.
And then then now with HoloLens.
HoloLens, yeah. And then it's not even apparently not even that spectacular in person. I mean, it looks cool, but getting really solid AR that doesn't shake and move and actually keeps things in place, that's pretty cool. I just don't know where it goes after that,
Yeah. But anyway, back to Oculus and all.
Yeah.
So yeah, Oculus costs that shit. And a lot of people were saying that the reasoning, or a lot of people were speculating rather, that the reason it was so much is because of the carrying case, Xbox controller, the DAC, the headphones, and yada 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 yada.
Yeah.
And that is actually untrue. That was explained pretty well in the AMA. The controller costs nothing. I believe it. Because when you controller costs $60 to us.
Yeah.
It costs probably half that to manufacture. It costs even less when you got to deal
probably
with Microsoft.
Less than half of that to manufacture.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably costs $15 to manufacture.
I mean, considering Beats literally cost $12 to manufacture.
Yeah. I mean, they're not sticking an Xbox Elite controller in there. They're sticking an Xbox One controller.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad controller. I fucking love the Xbox One controller, but when you get to capitalism, when you get down to the nitty-gritty and shipping and all that, it does cost more because, you're buying an individual unit, this, that, and the other. Well, they're buying in bulk. They're getting a deal.
They're also it's a partnership. Yeah, you don't do this.
So it probably cost. He confirmed that it cost them next to nothing for the controller, and I think it's a great idea to bundle a controller, especially with having a wireless dongle. That's brilliant for both Microsoft and them to have if the touch isn't ready, and I don't want an unready touch. So there you go.
Yeah.
The DAC, I actually had an argument with somebody on G about on 4chan on G about the DAC. And the guy was saying, why the fuck did they do the DAC? I mean, fucking audio is expensive or whatever. And I brought up the same point. I said, think about it this way. DACs, we're not talking about a fucking meme tube DAC here that costs, $200. We're talking about an average DAC that sounds okay. Digital audio converter, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah.
Basically, it makes audio sound better if you get a good one. But, so we got to talking about that, and I brought the point to him. I was like, well, Beats does this, and it's not good, but it's average. It's okay, and you're not getting a tube DAC in here. You're just getting something that's better than the average. And it costs them nothing when they have, this giant manufacturing line, this, that, and the other. It probably cost them pennies on the dollar.
They wouldn't have done it if it wasn't cost effective.
Yeah.
I believed them when they said that they did everything they could to get the price where it was at.
Right.
I think the issue really comes down to the idea is that it is a piece of specialty enthusiast hardware for the fucking PC.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping me, by the way. I was fucking rambling.
They need to people out there who are bitching and complaining about a $600 price tag need to realize that this is the fucking piece of hardware made for the fucking PC.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, that right there completely raises the price tag because PC doesn't have the same model as a console system. I mean, if you look at this, like PlayStation VR, even if it comes out at $600, you only have a $350 barrier to entry if you don't have a console already.
Yeah. Whereas Oculus, you're
looking at $1,000
at
plus.
least $600.
Yeah.
I can't imagine building a PC under $500 that can run that thing. I can't imagine building a $500 PC that will do it.
No, not that. I
Because
mean, even if you already have a decent monitor,
VR ready.
Yeah, even if you already have a decent monitor and a keyboard and mouse, and then all you really need is the guts, like if you're upgrading like your bog standard PC, it's still going to cost you like $500, $600.
Because you're looking at, I think the minimum specs is it's a $200-something PC, CPU. That comes along with, if you get a decent motherboard, you're looking at $100, especially with Intel. RAM, what is it? Is it 8 or 16?
I need 8 actually.
8 gigs of RAM.
8's not bad. I mean, most people should have 8. Like you can get a PC off the shelf that has 8.
Yeah. So that's probably $40, $50, something like that. Then you got a power supply. If you go real cheap, then $60, $70. Yeah. You really don't want to go cheap on that though. Mm-mm. And your graphics card,
you're probably talking closer to like $100 to $150 if you're strong enough to run like a fucking the graphics card and the CPU that you're going to need inside of the computer. You're going to need like 800 watts at least.
About 650 if you get to 9.
But you want to go a little high because you're also going to be running an OculusRift off of your system, with 3 fucking USB 3.0 ports, which is another thing you need with the PC that you get.
Apparently you can use a USB splitter, USB
hub, but as long as it's like a 3.
Yeah, it has to be a 3.0 hub.
Okay.
But apparently the 3 ports thing is actually counting the USB needed for touch.
Oh, okay. So it's only 2 as it ships right now, but you will need 3 when it gets.
I'm assuming maybe like 1 for each screen, or 1 for the tracker, 1 for the Oculus.
It's probably one for the tracker, 1 for the Oculus, 1 for the wireless adapter. Yeah, that's what I would think it is.
Yeah, and
because it is also has a remote as well coming in the case.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming is like a Wiimote kind of situation.
I don't know. Maybe it's like an audio thing or like a DVD controller.
Could be. As long as whatever it's doing can be done by a keyboard and mouse without it.
Yeah.
Or it can be done. I mean, like it's meant to be able to interact with your computer in a basic way since you're not going to be able to see your keyboard and mouse. So I'm assuming it's there to be like a Wiimote pointed at the screen, a little finger appears, and you click on shit.
That'd be pretty cool.
I think that's what it's there for. Because really, like, you put that fucking thing on your head, you can't say shit, So.
Yeah. I hope you know your controller well.
Yeah.
But anyway, considering the price and everything, a little bummed about it, but we're still fucking psyched about it. Kind of fucked up on the pre-order there. I was starting to tell you about that before we started the podcast. So I was in the pre-order thing. I'm already committed. I'm really fucking ready to get one of these things for the podcast. We will be doing a full-on video review of this thing as soon as we get it in. We'll break it down for you, show you what's in the case, unbox it, all that, and do a little play. Probably stream it, and we'll edit you up something real nice. Anyway, like I was saying on the pre-order, I was in the pre-order site the second I was in there an hour before it really started with a countdown on my phone, and what I was planning to do was wait till it got down to almost time, then come down to your computer and get on and get my shit in. Well, it gets down to about a minute and a half left. I'm like, all right, I've been fooling with the kids and all. I told Laura, I was like, hey, look, I'm going to go down here and do this. So I head downstairs and I realize, fuck, my PC is not on. And, by the time it took me to get down here, that was 15 seconds. So I was like, fuck, I got a minute. So I turn the thing on and it starts booting up. I'm like, okay, it goes through the boot. And it's pretty quick because of the SSD, but it's not that quick, Slow down because I got a bunch of shit on here now. So, like, it boots up and gets almost there, and it's like 3 seconds left. And I'm like, fuck, I'm just going to do it on my phone and I'll bring it up on the PC. So I get in there on my phone, and, it loads up and says, all right, pre-order Oculus Rift. The very second that it went down, I click it on my phone, and it just fucking black screens on me.
Right.
It's like I get nothing. The site's crashed. Well, I kind of expected this. Right. So I left it on my phone, took my time, and got in there about 2 minutes after on my on the PC. Same black screen. Fucking site's crashing. God, fuck. They're just absolute shit. The site is not ready for this at all.
No site is ever ready for any kind of traffic because they don't know how. Well,
I mean,
everybody knows it's going to happen, yet for some reason nobody ever prepares for it because it costs way too much money to spin up that many servers to handle that kind of load when they can just not do that.
Yeah. But get in there, shit happens. And I'm sitting here just F5, 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 F5. And probably 10 minutes later or so, it lets me get in to put in my information. And I'm like, cool, fuck. That sounds great. So I get in there, put in all my information, finally get in, and go to submit. And it says an error. Errors occurred. Fucking shit. So F5, errors occurred. F5, errors occurred. F5, errors occurred. Fucking refresh. Just keep refreshing on it. Do on my phone, put my information in. Error has occurred. Motherfucker. So I close out my browser, bring it back up, start it all over again, and actually get to the same page. Error has occurred. Motherfucker. So 30 minutes roll by, and I'm just sitting here, like, hand on my head, just F5, F5, fucking F5. God damn it, motherfucker. And finally, it lets me submit. And, it gives me a shipping date of, it's like, okay, you can expect your shit in April. What the fuck, dude? I was in here like fucking first. I mean, I kind of expected it, because I was,
yeah,
the shit's been down. It's like, their site's a piece of shit. Turns out I fucked up. What they did, apparently, is when you got to the page where you could actually enter your info, it cached your browser and kept your place in line. Oh. And if I'd have stayed on my phone, I'd have been one of the very first. But no, I had to fucking get on the PC, and then on top of that, I closed up my browser altogether and then restarted the whole process again, so I fucked up.
Yeah.
My bad, guys. Sorry. So we can probably expect our Oculus mid to late April. I like there's a little sheet out that has the numbers on it. And mine's 31. So if you can find that little sheet with all the estimated shipping days. Hopefully, though, about half the people, well, maybe not hopefully because I want VR to succeed, but hopefully like a quarter of them will drop out and it'll push me forward.
No, they'll all drop out behind you.
It won't be any of the first people, I'll tell you that much. The people that were in there from the get-go, they're probably already ready to go. Like, probably
how many do you think
that
they got pre-ordered? Like, do they have numbers out there for that yet?
I know the first round of pre-orders, what they're doing is they're releasing in waves.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming waves means what they got produced versus what they can produce.
Right.
So I'm assuming they had a production quota for the month of March.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they had a quota for March for the very first pre-orders, that whole first wave, and that quota got met in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that was actually a pretty skewed number considering how bad the site was crashing. So that first wave is what they have now, I'm assuming. The second wave is probably what they can produce this month. Third wave is probably what they can have finished by the time the second wave rolls out, and so on and so forth. Palmer seemed extremely confident that they will not run out of pre-orders. Like, that was one of his things, is like, don't even fucking worry about it. We got it. Like,
well, the waves thing makes sense for that kind of situation, to avoid having to push pre-orders back.
Yeah.
Instead, it's just like, no, this is just when you're going to get it, because, let's say we have 10,000 in March, we'll have 10,000 in April, we'll have 10,000.
Then you got the same problem that happened with, like, Fury, like when Fury X rolled out.
Yeah.
It sold out in the first few minutes, too. But after the first pre-orders, like Amazon, Newegg, everywhere, you just had to keep checking, like, every other day.
Especially for that, like, at least they're selling it through their own site and through their own store.
Yeah.
Compared to like something like a Fury X, which has to go to every other seller out there, and so it's like, if those sellers aren't taking pre-orders for it,
yeah,
how the hell do you even buy one?
It took me like 3 months after release to even order a fucking Fury X.
Yeah,
and then after that, it took me another like 2 or 3 months just to get the damn thing because back orders.
Right. So with this, they seem to have a plan. The question is, how many do they put in each one of those waves? And even if you look at it like that, like how many does this thing have to sell to be a success?
Well, considering what it's doing now, it's on track for sure.
I mean, it's a very nebulous thing because it's the first major release VR thing out there.
Yeah.
So, what is a good number for it, right? Does it need to hit 1 million before the end of the year to be a success?
I think what you have to do to calculate success is calculate how many units are sold versus how many people have a capable PC. And honestly speaking, that's
you can go to like
computer users.
Yeah, you can go to like Steam and look at that information because people I'm assuming if you have a PC that powerful, you have it for gaming, and then Steam tracks users' hardware and puts all that information out there.
So you could probably get a fairly accurate representation of those numbers by looking at the users that have at least a 290X.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say 290. Because
probably a 290X, they probably got 980 if you're going with the NVIDIA.
So if you look at 290X and above, and then maybe if you can put a filter like that on there, people that have at least 9.5.
Yeah, you can probably sort out that information. I mean, there's plenty of resources out there to find that information, but it's got to be a very small percentage of users, and then across all Steam users at that point too.
Yeah.
So
if you can catch half of those users, then half would be an amazing success.
How many people buy like flight sticks and shit like that? How many people buy those things? Those companies have to make their entire living off that kind of thing.
Yeah, and they don't have the kind of hype that Oculus has either.
Right,
but they also aren't owned by Facebook and aren't subsidized through Facebook.
But does the hype are the sales going to match the hype? That's another question.
So far they have, I would say, considering how fast everything sold out. I am really fucking excited about it though, because every single
how much of this is actually like selling out versus like subduing the supply chain? Like if they're only putting out 5,000 a month, it's easy for them to sell out. But what if if they're putting out like half of, like they can determine when they sell out by not putting out as many units for pre-order. And so that would keep them. That's what Nintendo does. When they release new hardware, they always put out a very low number of out there on the first wave so that they can get that Nintendo sold out of Wii's in the first day kind of news out there.
I know that they're back ordered till June right now.
Yeah.
So March, April, May, June. Late March, April, May, June. So that's 4 months solid, and that's definitely better than
How many do you think they put out there, though? Speculating, like if
I
per
think there's
month.
a number.
The waves have to that number should hopefully be out there. I'd imagine if it was as big as you're saying it was, they would be bragging about it. That's my thinking.
Let's see. First shipment's March 28th. Pre-order details. No, there's Palmer saying no chance Rift pre-orders will sell out because I'm assuming because of their strategy.
The method that they're doing it just makes it impossible for them to sell out because they're making them to order.
The site is still crashing apparently.
When was this article read?
4 hours ago.
Jesus.
Long-awaited Oculus Rift virtual reality headset is finally available to pre-order, but many people have been unable to place their order as the site continues to crash. Limited one per customer. Shipping date.
What if this isn't as what if it only seems really bad, and what if they are actually only putting 15 out a month?
I don't think it's that bad. I mean, there's a lot of hype.
If you got that list though, doesn't that tell you how many order? It gives you order numbers, right? So shouldn't it just give you every single order that they have?
It's got a general number. Let me look on our messages right quick. Let's see. All right. Let's see. All the numbers start with 6130000, and then the next two digits are starting at 21. And they're going through 38, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers after that. So let's see. I'm assuming they're individual numbers, done by the ones. So
yeah.
I can't be right because that'd be hundreds of thousands.
Well, I'm assuming 613. I mean, there's no telling what that actually means. because I mean it's order numbers.
Yeah.
But those numbers, like that means that somebody has to have a list out there, right? Like
most likely. Yeah, it looks like they had a real big backlog of actual product ready to go for the first pre-orders in March, because the way it has it laid out is it has like a chance of if it's going to ship that month.
Mm-hmm.
And 21 through 23 are all 100%. It's going to ship in March. And then there's a 95% yours will ship in March if it's 24th, 94th, 25th, 92, 26th, and then it drops to 66 on 27th. And then there's a 33% chance it'll do in April of 27. We got 31, so it's a 66% chance it'll be in April. Let's hope.
Why does it go back down in May?
What are you talking about? There's an 11% chance, like say on 29, will ship in May. 6% chance it'll ship in March.
But there's an 81% chance it'll ship in April. So what happens if it doesn't ship in April? Does that 81 add to the 11% in May and become?
I'm not sure.
92%?
Could be. Ooh. Yeah, there's like a 2% June. This is a weird chart.
I mean, it makes sense. Each one of those groups would have to be like at the least 10,000, right? Because I mean, it's sitting here. It's got fucking 5 digits. I don't know. I'll have to cut all this out because
yeah,
this is not worth anything. Okay.
Anyway, like I was saying before.
So I mean, as I said before, the price has nowhere to go but down.
Yeah.
Because the barrier to entry is going to get cheaper and cheaper as time passes. And it's not going to go anywhere. Like, unless they decide to fucking go stupid crazy and start releasing new models of Oculuses every year, like fucking iPhone or something, and releasing them for $600 fucking dollars. The Oculus is going to stay the same, and the requirements for running an Oculus are going to stay the same.
Yeah.
So that way, the hardware is going to get cheaper, and then the hardware on the barrier to entry is going to get cheaper.
Right.
So the real question comes down to whether or not since the Oculus is in a weird position because they are the first ones out.
Yeah.
But being the first ones out, is the burden on them to lead the charge, to lead the revolution? And at that point, does it then come down to competition? Does capitalism kick in after that, and then everybody else tries to undercut them, and then it fucking shatters splinters the market and makes it impossible for anybody to sell because they're all producing things that are dependent on certain other aspects. So it's like,
they had both a very hard job and a very good position with this first entry being first out the gate, because they could set the price, they could set the standard for VR as far as price goes.
Right.
If they came out the gate at like the $450 price mark and Vive came out at $650, $600, whatever, then they've won already. I mean, that's it, game over.
But putting your
coming
number
out
out
at 600, and Vive has been estimated to be around that much, and now we know that PlayStation VR is also probably going to be around that.
Right. But the barrier to entry on a PlayStation VR is only $350.
Yeah.
The barrier to entry on a Vive is probably the same as it is for an Oculus. I can't imagine they're going to somehow be able to run any lower. I mean, at this point, though, if you don't have your information out there, if you don't have price and shipping dates and all that stuff out there, you got to be fucking jumping for joy, because if you just flick one fucking switch or change one fucking thing, you can blow Oculus out of the water, you know?
Not necessarily.
I would think that there are more people in this country who have PlayStation 4s than there are people who have PCs capable of playing an Oculus Rift.
Oh, absolutely. But those people are probably not the people competing with Oculus, too. I mean, because you got to think, PlayStation VR, yeah, it's kind of a competition as far as VR goes. But the people that are going to be buying Oculus are probably
I'm not looking at this like a competition. I don't think that PlayStation VR and Oculus are anywhere in the same league, because they're not. I mean, there's just, you can go way farther with a PC than you ever could with a PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, like, shouldn't it be really more like PlayStation VR should be the one leading this charge, because they are the living room device. They are the, more people probably have a PlayStation 4 than have a PC capable of playing an Oculus Rift. And they also, because they're owned by a multi-billion-dollar corporation, worldwide tech leader like Sony can fucking just subsidize that price into the fucking ground and get it out there for like $400 if they wanted to.
Not necessarily, because if you look at even just Xbox One with Kinect kind of fucking bombed because it's an expensive peripheral. PlayStation, or was it the Eye?
Yeah, the camera.
Yeah,
the camera sells out like crazy, though.
Yeah, it kind of sells out, but it still fucking bombed. It failed. I mean,
the PlayStation camera didn't fail because everybody wanted it for that one fucking thing that came with the PlayStation 4, that fucking room game. Yeah, nobody makes any games for it, but they never put it out there to be a thing for people to make games with. You know, they put it out there as just here's a fucking PlayStation
But even
camera.
then, look at Kinect. I mean, people don't want Kinect. I fucking love Kinect. It's great. It's fucking awesome peripheral, worth every goddamn penny. But it's failed.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like looking at like the Wii and look at all the shit they put out that didn't fucking sell.
Yeah,
you know, I mean,
so when you look at
peripherals
this,
in general don't sell. Like adding on extra hardware onto a console usually has historically proven not to sell. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Especially when you're talking about an expensive piece of hardware.
Yeah,
but
then
this
you look
has
at
to
the
be
PC
sold.
market.
This has to be sold as something else entirely different. Because you can't sell it like you sell a Kinect. When you sell a Kinect, you're selling a thing you add to your Xbox that enhances the experience of games, but those experiences are not necessarily reliant on the Kinect. And that in and of itself kind of throws a whole wrench in the plan because you don't get to say, you need this to play it, and so nobody wants to get it.
Well, they tried that, and those games kind of fucking tanked.
Yeah, because nobody bought the... Well, people bought it, but nobody wanted the games because those games weren't fun.
And you got to hire...
You don't make good games for it on top of that. That's a whole other thing. You don't make good games, it's not going to work at all.
Yeah.
Because it is
I mean,
a game
you got added
first.
functionality and shit. Like, even Skyrim had some Kinect stuff in it that was kind of cool. Like, you could Fusroda your fucking Kinect and it would do it.
Cool shit like that. But, like, you know, what's it really... Like, it's just an enhancement at that point. This has to be sold like... You have a PlayStation 4. That's all you need. This is a completely separate experience that has nothing to do with the PlayStation 4. This just happens to require a PlayStation 4. PlayStation VR needs to be sold as a completely separate thing. Almost like a whole other console for them, I think.
And I think that's kind of their approach. But the reason I think that Oculus and VR is kind of shifting towards the PC market instead is because when you look at the console market, you got half of literally probably over half of these consoles are being bought by parents for their kids.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
No offense, console guys. But you also got to look at PC guys, people that get really into PC enthusiasts, they don't blink twice at spending $200, $300, $400
right
on a single part for their PC. They do it constantly, all the time. They don't blink at spending $600, $700, $800 on a damn monitor. So you got these people that are already ready, able, and willing to spend that kind of money on these peripherals that aren't even exclusively, you know, doing anything cool like VR. So now you have this really awesome new fucking tech that blows people away and is getting all this hype, and you got these enthusiasts that are looking for something else. Like I have my Fury X. There's not a whole lot of stuff out there for me to do other than make games look pretty. I want something fucking cool that is kind of exclusive almost to my PC. We want that sense of, I mean,
the
PC Master Race. You know? I mean, we
out.
kind of want that sense of elitism, and that kind of gives it to us. You
But
know,
that
without
kind
having
of
to be...
underlines the actual issue here, though, is that Oculus isn't selling to you, the guy with the $1,000 PC. They're saying you need a $1,000 PC, but they're selling to the mainstream.
Well, the thing what
And
they're doing
the
is they're
problem
not
is-
just selling to me. I mean, yeah, you could sell to
They're
the 1%.
not selling to you. They're not selling to you. They're
I mean,
selling to
they
the
are,
mainstream.
but they're not. It's made for me, sold to Joe Blowjob over here.
Well, it's sold.
But,
it's
because-
made for. It's made to be a mainstream thing. It's supposed to create this whole VR revolution that everybody wants VR, and VR is the thing.
Yeah, and
and
what
it's
they're doing
heavily reliant on that. But a $600 price tag with $1,000 barrier to entry, with for an experience that is inherent to like that you can get for $99 with a Samsung Gear VR, which is made by Oculus, so they're still getting that money.
Yeah.
You can get it for $19 with a Google Cardboard, or you can get it for fucking however much PlayStation VR costs. And even if it does cost $600, it only has a $350 barrier to entry. Vive, Vive is like, that's like Gabe Newell with the fucking Steam OS. You know, that's him getting fucking antsy about some fucking big dog stepping up in his yard, so he does the exact same thing and makes something else, you know?
See, I think what they're trying to do with Oculus is they're making it for enthusiasts, yes. They're marketing it to Joe Schmo, Joe regular guy over here, to get him into this market, to increase that 1% number, to increase their audience.
Yeah. But do you think Palmer Luckey has all these, like, you know, beautiful visions of creating a grand utopia for the high-powered PC master race and, like, bringing more people into that fold, or is he really just wanting to make a VR headset and sell it for $600?
Well, not necessarily, but the big thing that they're trying to do, and Luckey actually has said this pretty much directly, that they're trying to make the top, the premium, this is it VR device. Yeah. So they're trying to get, there is nothing better than this. This is it. This is what you're getting. If you're going hard in VR, you want the full fucking experience, not the cell phone, not the console, not Google Cardboard.
It gets the job done.
I mean, if you want everything you can get out of it, then you want the Oculus. Yeah. And that really appeals to us as PC gamers, but it also really appeals to the general public, as in, this is the best. In the same way that iPhone appealed to everybody when it came out for $600 goddamn dollars.
Well, yeah, most phones cost $600 goddamn dollars.
Now, I mean, when the iPhone came out,
when the iPhone came out, there weren't phones like because nobody was using a fucking capacitive touchscreen with, you know, like in that style. Like nobody was making that phone, and the people that did make that phone, they made shitty fucking phones. They made like the Samsung phones that were around that time were the fucking shitty DS touchscreens.
I know. I was working in a cell phone factory.
Yeah, those fucking things are pieces of shit and they don't fucking work. iPhone made a capacitive touchscreen, made a working touchscreen, and fucking revolutionized the entire phone business and made all phones cost $7,000.
Yeah.
You know,
when they came into the market and said that, because it could be done on anything, but everybody was like, no one wants a $600 cell phone. We don't want it. Yeah. But then they came out and said, hey, look, here's this awesome phone.
Here's a $600 cell phone. Here's everything it can do.
Yeah, this is the smartphone experience. This is everything you would want in a smartphone. Yes, it's fucking expensive, but yes, it is.
But you know what you can do with a cell phone? You can take it and you can hold it up and you can fucking do all this shit on a fucking stage.
That's what Oculus is wanting to be.
You can put it in a store and you can have people fucking test it out in a store. Exactly. I don't want to put no fucking eye juice booger shit on my fucking head that some guy's been wearing, you know, that some fucking snot-nosed 16-year-old running a GameStop hasn't fucking cleaned out in 3 days. Not for fucking VR.
You can't honestly say that you wouldn't fucking try it if it was right there in front of you, no matter who had just used it.
It depends on if I saw the person just using it and if they were sweaty.
But yeah, I think that's what they're going for with this. I think they want to be that smartphone breakthrough as far as gaming is right now. I think that's what they are really going for.
It has to be the next level because, you know, the people that are into games, like really into games, they can look at the modern consoles and say these consoles aren't powerful enough and they're barely going to last the, 10-year cycle that these game companies want to usher in. Yeah. The PC market, previous generation, blew up because of the lack of power on consoles. Yeah. Because these other consoles haven't done anything to, challenge that notion, the PC is going to continue to grow as a viable market. And the hardware prices are going down. And so it becomes a symbiotic relationship where these low-powered consoles are forcing AAA developers to lower the standards at which it takes to play their games, but they get to put them out on PC, and people can raise those standards. Yeah. At will, so it becomes a symbiotic thing. The barrier to entry on PC gets lower for a console gamer looking for the next experience. Yeah, but the consoles get to also get some of that from the PC players because some people just want the shit in their living room, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and then you got to look at the tech market in general, too, because the past generation of AMD, like for the past, 5 years or so, it's been both AMD and NVIDIA rebrands. And AMD finally this year released a new GPU. And so the same thing, or this past year, released a new GPU. And then the same thing with Maxwell and NVIDIA. And then finally we got a new Intel processor that wasn't, just an upped version slightly of the last i7, i5, whatever.
It wasn't an iteration. It was a new step forward.
Yeah, it was a new shit, I can't remember the word. New thing. But he got the Haswell, and it was kind of an okay jump, a little bit, maybe. And then it cost a fuck ton more. And then AMD, I mean, you're still on the FX series, and they're still waiting on Zen until the end of this year. Yeah. So the tech market's fucking stagnant right now.
Yeah.
And
you think like VR is going to be the thing that pushes that forward and pushes that into the next generation, or is it going to be the thing that?
Well, that's not necessarily. That's a Moore's Law thing, because we've just kind of fucking hit a wall there. I mean, now that AMD is going, I think it's 12 nanometer.
You got to kind of take it into a different direction anyway, just because you can't just keep making the same thing but better. Because at a certain point, like even like in the past, it was a lot worse. Like hands down, like getting in the PC market now, it's never been easier. But in the past, it was like a fucking new graphics card every other week, and
because it was literally just like Moore's Law.
They were just taking that jump every single time.
And every single generation was a massive jump, and that's how it was with consoles too. And that's why consoles were kind of. This generation is because it's been stagnant for so long. We didn't have that big a jump, and we haven't, and probably won't see another huge jump until there's another really big tech breakthrough.
Yeah, but VR allows the companies that are out there now to take advantage of the stagnation in a way, because now they can release a product that does change the experience and does give players something new that they've never experienced before, but they don't have to raise the barrier of entry any more than they already have.
If nothing else,
if you're already gaming on a high-powered PC, $600 is probably a drop in the bucket for you. Yeah, because you already have spent the $1,000 you need to get a PC in that position. PlayStation VR comes out and you already have a PlayStation 4, you buy the fucking... And like I said, that thing's going to come with guts. Like, there's no way that thing's coming. It's going to be powered by PlayStation 4 by itself.
It's whereas the Oculus and Vive are both like 1200 by 18, whatever the hell it is. I know that the PS4 one, the PlayStation VR, is 1920 1080. Yeah. From what Palmer said, that's not great for VR, but I mean, if it does the job, it fucking does the job.
Right. I don't think it really matters, because like
I mean,
you're gonna get the screen door effect.
You can't do two fucking 1080 screens on a PS4 as it is. You can't dual monitor.
So it's gonna have to come with something else in there.
I'm assuming that they're gonna have some kind of laptop GPU or something in it.
Yeah, they just put his fucking mobile GPU in there and then stick it in a box that you plug into the PlayStation 4. Yeah. Because even I think NVIDIA has a thing out now. It's like a fucking case that you can put a fucking GPU into and plug it into a laptop, and it fucking just goes through like Thunderbolt 3, and it's a fucking
because like Thunderbolt and the like are getting almost as fast as PCIe now, so you can you can pretty much crossfire.
Like, this is like they just fucking you just take this box and you put your GPU into it, and then that plugs into your laptop, and now your laptop is
the dedicated GPU thing. Yeah, I know what you're talking
so
about.
I could see crossfire. I could see them doing something like that with the PlayStation. Yeah, like it doesn't have the ports necessary for it, but I don't know. That's their.
That would still drive the price way fucking up though. So I don't know really what they're going to do.
But they're also console manufacturers used to selling things at a loss because they can license the shit out of that stuff. But they can license the shit out of all the software and get all the money on the back end for it, which is what they do anyway. Like
considering they don't fail.
Yeah, you just fucking put it out there. If it fails, that's the thing. If VR just completely stagnates, because there's a lot of games out there that are being worked on. You see them all over the place, but there's really small indie experiences. And even this past console generation has taught us indie games are cool as shit, but they don't fucking move consoles. People do not give a goddamn shit about an indie game in the mainstream. like, it's cool that PlayStation is all like, yay, indies, and it's cool that Xbox did the fucking ID at Xbox thing, and it's really awesome. They got all these cool games coming out. Nobody's going to buy Cuphead, and that sucks. You know?
One thing I'm surprised we haven't talked about yet is VR porn.
Yes.
And that's a really fucking big deal for everyone who has a penis.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what I said in the Facebook group was $600 for porn is a little ridiculous. But even like Naughty America, one of the biggest like people, they're doing VR porn. And their advertisement for the VR porn is built around the Gear VR.
Yeah.
So $99 barrier entry to look at 3D boobies. Not that bad.
Yeah, not too bad.
I'm sure I could find VR porn experiences for the Google Cardboard, with an iPhone. Look at that right now. I wish I brought that along with me. It comes with a little box, a little slip box to carry it in.
Yeah, I thought about getting one. I wish I'd have gotten in on the free one.
Yeah. I wish I had sent that to you right away, but fuck, those things went like fucking crazy.
Yeah. By the time I got in there, it was fucking gone.
I think you can get them at like Verizon now. I think they might have them at the Verizon store now or something like that.
Because I have the perfect phone for it. I got the fucking I got the Note 5.
You always get the fucking ViewMaster thing. Like the new ViewMaster. That's basically Google Cardboard. Like even has a QR code on the inside you take a picture of with the Cardboard app and sync it to your phone.
Nice.
So, yeah. But yeah, VR porn. I mean, I think it's an interesting concept, but I just don't know if it's going to like... Was porn... porn made VHS in the VHS versus Betamax wars. And porn made Blu-ray in the Blu-ray versus HD DVD wars.
How did it... Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That porn went Blu-ray, and that's kind of one of the things. But at the same time, it's like...
Was there a documentary for this?
I wish there... It probably needs to be. Like, porn does... it is a make-or-break thing, but now porn is so readily available on the internet.
Yeah. But that may kind of really fucking help, though.
Maybe.
Because they're looking for a new way to make money, too.
Right.
And that's a new way to make money, because, I mean, if you got, like, fucking, like,
but do they
VR
aim
porn,
for $600, or do they aim for that $99 Gear VR barrier of entry for it?
At this point, VR is just going to be looking at, do people have this? Okay, they've got money. We already know this. They're willing to spend it.
Yeah.
We can put out some porn and sell it for $2. We're still making more than we're making on Pornhub.
Yeah. Yeah. Making more than you make on, like, people stealing your videos and putting them on X Hamster.
So this may bring back, paid for porn, which is a big deal for the porn industry.
Yeah. I mean, people are paying for porn. People do pay for it for those weird people that pay for it.
I would probably, I know I would pay for good VR porn.
Yeah. I think I would rather have like a porn experience. You know? I think I would like to have like a porn game.
Yeah. And I've already seen it's already fucking out for what's the name for the developers kit? DK. It's already
DK2,
out for DK2. There's already a fucking waifu game.
Yeah.
I saw
one of the things that they were selling with the PlayStation VR was that like My Roommate game or whatever, and it's like a fucking macking on a fucking schoolgirl. Like that's the fucking game, and it's for the PlayStation VR, and it's like shit.
It is. It is a Japanese console.
Yeah, it's really markets it.
One of the things we were talking about when we were outside too. One of the big problems with VR was the pixel density of screens.
Yeah,
they had the screen door effect real bad, and the reason that is when you have a low or even a decent pixel density, like say Frank was talking about his iPhone as a 1080 screen.
It's got a 1080 screen. It's also got really good pixel density. I mean, these Retina screens are nothing to fuck around with.
Yeah. But when you look at it under a microscope...
Yeah, like this fucking thing zooms right in on this fucking screen.
Yeah.
And you can see the individual pixels. It's not that bad, but it definitely is there. It's noticeable.
And it's not necessarily a 1080 thing. It's pixel density, because when you have low pixel density, you have that amount of pixels on the screen, but in between each of those pixels is black space. So with a low pixel density, you get a really bad screen door effect, and VR amplifies that to the max. And when you get a better pixel density, then you have a whole lot less black space in there. So getting rid of that black space, more pixel density, but also more money. So that's another place of where the cost came from with Oculus and all the other VR, is you have to have high pixel density.
They want to be the top of the line, the best experience that you can have with VR.
Right.
So they have to get it right. You know, they have to get it right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Because if they're not selling you the top-of-the-line best experience that you can get, then even if a lot of people bought it, people are going to be turned off on it.
Yeah. Like,
And
even
people
if
aren't
it came
going to
out
keep
at $350 or $400, if it's not good, it's not worth it.
Right.
If it comes out at $600, but it's really fucking good, it's fucking worth it.
Think about the Wii. Like, the Wii blew the fuck up because everybody was like, we need a, fucking Wii Bowl, and it shit looks so much fun. You play it at somebody's house, you go out there and buy one, and it's only like $300. Fuck yeah, let's drop, And then nobody fucking bought any games for it because they got the best game that ever came out on the Wii for free with the fucking Wii.
Yeah.
So,
God, Wii Sports was fun, though.
Wii Sports is the only good Wii game.
I don't know. There were several good Wii games.
Yeah, there's great Wii
I really loved Super Mario Brothers Wii.
Yeah, Super Mario Bros. Wii's
had a
good.
lot of fun with that.
Super Mario Galaxy games are good. I mean, there's a lot of fun games for Wii, but the people didn't buy them.
Yeah.
When you're talking about this is the highest selling console of the last generation, nobody fucking talks about the Wii. They talk about the Xbox 360.
Right.
It is the best selling console of all time next to the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
And so, this fucking thing sold all these units and got so much fucking traction and probably continued to sell for a very long time. Nobody bought the other games for it. Nobody bought the software for it. Nobody gave a shit about it outside of the buying it once and then sticking it in the closet or something.
You bought it, and you bought it, you got smashed, and then you were done.
Yeah, exactly. That's just, you could see that happening in the VR market. You could see a shitload of people buying a Rift, and then nobody makes
everybody
anything
plays
for
Eve
it.
Valkyrie, and they're
Yeah,
like, okay,
exactly.
that's cool. And then
Lucky Tail, the fucking breakout success for
God. I mean, I first I looked at it and I thought, oh, cool, a Conquer game. And then I looked at it again a little harder and said, oh, okay, a Tails game. And then I looked at it a little harder and said, oh, it's just a mentally challenged woodland creature game.
It's cute. You need a 3D character platform. Apparently we're living in the fucking 1990s and you need a 3D character platformer game to sell your fucking console. Instead
apparently
of
cute has a low polygon count these days.
Well, you gotta make it run.
I think they're going to be aiming for last gen graphics, which I'm okay with as long as it's fucking VR.
As long as I don't care about realism in a VR experience.
As much.
Not as much as because fucking the real world, I have perfect head tracking, and there's no screen door effect, and it's 3D.
I want an Okami or a Jet Set Radio.
You just make something that looks good and has a verisimilitude to it that you can get. You feel like the world has a cohesion to it that you can get into. As long as it has a well-defined look, I'm okay with it. I think
immersion is the name of the game.
Yeah, if you go full on trying to get the most realism, especially if you go full trying to get the most realism, and then the shit does that video game stuff.
Yeah,
it fucking takes you out the moment
Yeah, your fucking immersion's gone.
Yeah, you go to pick up a cup, and your hand, kind of bumps into it, and then the cup just fucking shakes across the table. Yeah, it's oh yeah, I'm playing a video game.
All right, let's. We're at fucking 49 minutes here, give or take. Cutting
let's
some
take
shit
a break.
Out. So we're gonna take a break, come back, and talk about Star Wars. It's gonna be a long episode, I'm sure, guys. We'll see you in a minute.
Troopers 3, virtual reality. Troopers 3, virtual reality. Troopers 3, virtual reality. Troopers 3. 4, 3, 2, 1. VR.
Star Wars in a faraway galaxy long ago. That was wrong. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, the SOGOpod talked about Star Wars. Finally went and fucking saw it this past, whatever day I saw it.
A day.
Yeah. Saw it whenever I saw it. It was really fucking late. There were 4 old people in the theater. I swear to God, there was a 60-year-old man and his wife, and then another 2 people, and that was it.
What time did you go?
We went at 4:30. No, it was later than that. It was 7:30. Yeah, I mean, the hype's fucking gone now. Everybody's seen it.
Yeah.
Twice.
It is the highest grossing movie in America now at this point.
Yeah.
It gets beat out Avatar finally.
Yeah.
It's not worldwide, but,
U.S.
U.S. It fucking opening weekend in China made $33 million.
Wow.
That's fucking crazy.
Ridiculous. But, like...
For having, like, a movie that was made with an entirely American cast and filmed in, various locations that weren't China and didn't feature Chinese actors. Like, the fucking Marvel movies go all out with that shit. They put fucking Chinese actors, they film in fucking China, they do everything they can to fucking get that Asian market. Disney was like, nah, we're not going to do that with Star Wars. We're just going to make a Star Wars movie. And it still got fucking crazy numbers in China.
I think my experience kind of really made it a very objective look at the movie because I didn't have all the hype. I kind of hate it because I really wanted that fucking bros and geekdom experience. And I listened to a little bit of the Laser Time one, just like the first 20 minutes or so, because I was.
And you can hear the excitement in there.
Yeah, and they had just watched it, and they had watched it on the opening night, and had everybody surrounding them, and had a lot of fun with it. And I went and like Damien had to pee halfway through, so Laura had to get in front of me and like fucking go, and I'm just sitting there like stone faced, just like with my hand under my chin, just watching the movie gathering, and
like I was in a theater full of fucking people. We fucking hooped and hollered when Han Solo showed up. Hooped and hollered when the Millennium Falcon showed up.
By the way, once again, fucking spoilers.
Yeah, stop listening now if you haven't seen Star Wars. What kind of person are you?
Yeah, all right. This will be spoiler fucking heavy. We are going to ruin this movie for you if you haven't seen it.
Thankfully, the trailer's already told you the Millennium Falcon and Han Solo are in this movie.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah, like the theater was really fucking into the movie, and everybody had a good time. Like clapped after fucking I'd never clapped during a movie.
Yeah,
and this fucking because of the experience made me clap.
And I didn't clap once.
Well, you're in a theater by yourself.
I'm in a theater by myself.
Yeah, that kind of ruins the. I would probably still do it just because.
Yeah, I legitimately believe Laura enjoyed the movie more than me. Right.
I think you spend too much time on 4chan.
Not even that.
4chan's ruined your ability to have fun.
I know. I completely avoided anything on 4chan that I could, at least. Because
you can't avoid
it also got
shit.
a big part of it got spoiled for me. Like the spoiler.
It's going to get spoiled for you if you didn't go see it like opening week. I'm really proud of you, Internet. You did a really good job of not spoiling this movie.
Good job.
For
I got
anybody.
fucked over. The first time I got spoiled actually wasn't 4chan. It was Brad.
But he didn't even know. He just said something.
He said something that he had heard from like 4chan or somewhere, thinking it was speculation, and it turned out to be true because I got it confirmed the very next day on 4chan by accident.
Yeah,
it was one of those pictures, that's like you click on it and it turns into another thing.
Yeah,
and it was a completely inconspicuous picture. It was like a fucking Pepe or something, but it had kind of small text just to make you click on it.
Yeah.
So I click on it and it pops open into this GIF, and like a fucking volcano explodes in the background. It's just like you can hear it, and it says Han Solo was killed by a sun god. Like fuck. Like, I was really fucking pissed about that. So that was another big part, is I kind of knew it was coming.
But at the same time, I think I've had every single piece of major media spoiled for me before it's come out, and I've never really... It's never ruined my experience. I think for some reason we put a lot of like pressure on ourselves to go into something clean and untouched, but it's like, shit, I watched Empire Strikes Back knowing that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father. I can watch this Star Wars movie knowing that Kylo Ren is Han Solo's son, and knowing that, he gets, and Han Solo dies, and knowing that stuff, and I could probably still enjoy it. But I do think, like, you had to watch it when the hype was there, but I think as a movie itself, it still holds up.
I mean, I will say this. Yes, it's a good movie. It is a great movie. It's a good Star Wars movie. It's a great Star Wars movie.
Considering what we've had come out prior.
Yeah. I hold it on almost the same regard as New Hope. Not quite.
That's pretty good praise for it, I think.
Yeah, it's great praise considering. I like it better than all the prequels so far. The characters are really fucking solid. They have a lot of potential, but a lot of potential was fucking dropped real hard. Not because the acting was bad, not because the characters themselves are poor characters, like some Gungans we know.
Right. There's no Jar Jars.
Yeah, no Jar Jars, thankfully. And I mean, all the pieces were there.
BB-8 could have been a Jar Jar, but that little fucking robot
BB-8 turned out to be really good. BB-8 turned out to be a really good.
The fucking thumbs up flamethrower was the best fucking moment in that.
That was pretty fucking good. But what I really caught from it was there was a lot of potential there that was kind of dropped because they were trying to do too much fan service, and they were really constricted by time. There was a lot of time constraint in there. I get that. Yeah, I really do. But I mean, let me explain it. Let me fucking lay this shit out for you. All right, so
just list your grievances. Airing of grievances. It's Festivus.
All right, so let me go ahead and get Finn out of the way.
Okay.
First and foremost, Finn.
We'll do it like this. We'll structure it so that I'm not gonna interrupt you every single time something goes up. You make your point. I'll make my counterpoint.
we already talked about this at length, and I pissed Frank off real bad.
You can counter my counterpoint.
We're gonna go on about Finn for an hour.
Yeah, and then when we're ready, we'll move on to your next grievance, and then we'll do the same thing. That way, I'm not gonna interrupt you every time you say something,
and we'll get on another
completely
subject.
wrong-headed, and I have to fucking put you in your place.
All right, so first and foremost, Finn. I really like his actor. I like his acting. I like that he's a black guy. I really want a fucking cool, like...
We already had a cool black guy in Star Wars. His name's Lando Calrissian.
Cool. I want a really good new black guy. I really wanted to like Finn. And he had the pieces there to be really likable and really relatable and really just, like, all around a good character, like original Luke. He was kind of a bitch. Like, original Luke was kind of a fucking loser faggot bitch. I mean, sorry, loser. Bleep that one out again.
I am literally going to start bleeping every instance of the F word. The other F word. Yeah. I'm okay with fuck.
Yeah. just not gay fuck.
I'm okay with gay fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just not around my kids.
So, yeah. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, so he had all the pieces there to be really good, but then like he just kind of turns out to be this loser without being likable. Like he does certain things and he has this little bit of humor and he says things that are meant to be likable and relatable, but they just kind of fall flat and they're just like, oh, this was meant to. You could tell, obviously, that it was inserted in there to make him kind of cool and relatable, and that's not what I want. I want immersion, and it just dropped flat every single time, and I don't want that. I want him to struggle more with him leaving the Empire. Like, don't just make him say, "Oh, fuck this shit, I'm out. They're killing folks up in here." No, I don't want that. I want him to be like, "Is this really what I want to do with my life? Am I okay with this? Am I?
We didn't have a choice.
I mean, but. Like, yeah, he didn't have a choice, but he was raised that way.
He was raised.
He was
snatched as a baby, you know.
Yeah. I mean, show that though. Like, if you were indoctrinated for life from, fucking doing
if he was going to be your fucking intro into the movie, if he was going to be your Luke Skywalker, your audience surrogate, bringing you into this world as someone who's never experienced Star Wars before because you just came out from under your rock, I think he did a pretty decent job of that because you do come into this being like, because all he's ever known is fucking white uniforms and killing people. Oh, yeah. Like, that's all he's ever known for his entire... He's never killed anyone before. That was his first fucking battle. He was in the sanitation department. Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like, he's supposed to be this lead character, and he's a fucking trash man.
That's the fucking joke, though. Is that the whole reason why he went? It was like
they're making him a joke, though. I don't want a black joke. I want a fucking.
I don't think it's a. But he doesn't have. He doesn't have the time to. He became a man over the course of the movie. There was character development there. He goes from being like, I'm breaking this guy out because I need a fucking pilot, but
like him
he's
and
trying to
I
make
can't remember the pilot's
Poe.
name, but like his and Poe's relationship.
Like this fucking
no
bromance.
Homo.
That's a bromance.
Like that bromance was the best part of his entire character.
Yeah.
And there was so much that could have been better with his character.
They kind of fell flat on that because I think they were trying to juggle trying to juggle audience expectations because you go into the movie thinking, well, here's your main character, this stormtrooper who can't fucking do it.
Yeah.
He can't be a part of the First Order. He just can't bring himself to fucking slaughter innocents. He can't do the stormtrooper thing.
Yeah.
He shoots well, so he can't be a stormtrooper. So, so he's like, I gotta get out of this. And his entire story arc is based on running from things till he gets to the very end of the movie where he chooses to finally stand and fight, and then he gets thrown into a tree.
Yeah, so it's just like this huge disconnect.
It's really good, though, because it's like, well, now you get to see where he goes from here, because he's made the decision. He made the decision multiple times in that movie to say, you know what, fuck this, I'm going back,
Fuck this shit, they killing people.
Like, how many times did he fucking, like the whole point of him going to the fucking Star Killer base was to try and rescue Rey, just to find out that she got herself out.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I'm going to save her life. And then
So
there she is, fucking
he's
crawling
just
out of
basically
a
like
tube.
the ultimate unlucky beta male at this point.
Yeah. He's just fucking like trying to be the fucking guy who rescues the damsel in distress, and just turns out she's just better than him.
And
which is a great way to turn the trope on its head. Like, that's,
Yeah, and I like the idea, but it wasn't executed well in my opinion.
I think, but that's, again, the problem really there is J.J. Abrams as a director, J.J. Abrams as a writer. If we get down to the nitty-gritty of it, J.J. Abrams is not good. Like, I don't know where it came from that he is somehow supposed to shepherd every major science fiction franchise in existence into some new audience and make it palpable. He made a shitty fucking TV show that lasted way too long for its own good called Lost.
Yeah.
That fucking only the most pretentious people enjoy, and even when they do enjoy it, they fucking hate watch it. Like, he took Star Trek and made it into a Star Wars movie, and I'm okay with the new Star Trek movies. I think they're, decent films, but they're not Star Trek movies.
Yeah.
They're far from
It's not
it.
Wrath of Khan.
They're no Wrath of Khan. They're not even anywhere close to anything that's ever been done when it comes to telling a Star Trek-like story.
Yeah.
And the same thing here with Star Wars. It's not really close to telling a Star Wars-like story. And I agree with you. There's a lot of fan service. It kind of falls into that category of the requel that's kind of been coming out now. These reboots of 70-plus-year-old movies that came out in the 70s are like 30-plus-year-old franchises that get rebooted for the next generation, but they're based into a sequelized format from the previous ones.
Yeah.
You had Creed, the new Rocky movie. It is basically a remake of the first Rocky movie with the son of Apollo Creed, but it's a sequel to Rocky because Rocky's still there doing his thing.
I will say this before I go any further. All the effects, all the cinematography, the acting, every single thing that they absolutely needed to get right was there.
Yeah.
It's a Star Wars movie through and through. It is the essence of Star Wars. You will not be disappointed if you haven't seen it.
If you like it,
if you haven't seen it and you're listening to this, sorry, you're fucking done now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think anybody was disappointed by everything that they did with all the effects and yada 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 yada. And I will also say that Finn has a very, very high chance of redeeming the fuck out of himself in future movies.
Well, now that he has a base to start from that we can actually enjoy.
Yeah. I want more character development for sure.
I mean, there was a lot there. I mean, you got to talk about a guy who made this drastic fucking decision of leaving the First Order and taking a fucking TIE fighter and blowing up a goddamn hangar bay to just escape, to land on this planet, to fall into this whole thing, because he just falls into it, which is a Star Wars trope, that anybody, they fall into their fate. They fall into their destiny. Say with Luke Skywalker, like, if it hadn't have been for him stumbling upon those droids and buying them from the fucking Jawas, he would have never gone on that adventure. He would have never been, the fucking Jedi that he was supposed to be.
Yeah.
He just stumbles into his fate. And that's the same thing with Finn. He was not planning on joining the Resistance, but he does, because he didn't really have much of another choice. I think with, Rey, she is a fucking great character.
Oh, yeah.
They did a great job with
Rey
her.
is definitely my favorite new Star Wars character. She fucking nailed it. Her actor is great. I don't know her actress' name.
Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley. I absolutely fucking love Daisy Ridley. She looks the part. Acting is phenomenal.
Yeah.
She everything about her character that was written is great. It is gold.
Yeah.
It
There's
is
a lot of people out there who
Star
complain
Wars.
about her being a Mary Sue, but it's like, have you never watched the Star Wars movie before?
Yeah.
Like, because fucking Luke Skywalker is the most Mary Sue out the fucking guy in the entire galaxy. Like, the dude, yeah, you can say, oh, she learned her force powers too fast. Dude, the force powers got turned up to 1 billion in fucking prequels. Like, sorry, when
But they
George
also
Lucas
had,
made
like, Jedi training and shit.
yeah, but when
too.
George Lucas made, when he made the first 3 movies, he didn't say, well, this is the limit you can go to. He just used it when it was appropriate. Like, it took Luke Skywalker like 15 minutes to grab his lightsaber with the Force when he was upside down in the Wampa Cave. Now, it could be because he was injured and got his fucking face scratched off or whatever, and his hand, messed up. That could have been the case. But, there was a certain level to it. It took fucking Yoda a minute to pick up an X-Wing out of a swamp. Like,
Yoda was also fucking like 400 years old and about to die.
Right. So, there are limits to it that were placed in the original movies, but the prequels blew those out of the water with like crazy force jumps and force lightning everywhere and, force pushes that throw 10,000 droids into the air, like shit like that.
But even those were all explainable by these are Jedi Masters. They've had a lot of training.
They've had a lot of training. The Jedi Order's been around for thousands of years.
And Rey, I really love Rey as a character. Like I said, I fucking love Rey. Rey is fucking awesome. I will put fucking Rey toys out. I want a fucking Rey toy. God damn it!
They're out there. You can get them. I think that whole thing's kind of silly.
It's fucking blown out of proportion. Yeah, I'm sure. But
the thing, especially with like Star Wars Monopoly, that version of Star Wars Monopoly is complete shit. Those little fucking plastic miniatures instead of pewter, like real ass fucking pewter. Shit. That's fucking bullshit. Fuck
probably
that.
Collectible.
I wouldn't want that. Even if it did have Rey, I wouldn't want it in my house. So, Monopoly's also not great.
Yeah. But anyway, like I was saying, I really think she did develop too fast because she went from just trash collecting to fucking being able to force persuade a stormtrooper out of nowhere, and then.
But we also don't know her history.
She's collecting trash,
but she was left on a planet by mysterious parents.
As far as we know, she has never tapped into her force ability at all. I mean, it would be a little bit different.
I think
if she had mentioned, like, I've always felt this weird connection or
being
something.
Quote unquote strong in the Force, like that does mean something in the Star Wars universe, Like, the Force was strong with Luke Skywalker. Like, there is obviously means that there is some quantitative level of Force ability that someone has just innate in them, even if like they're Force sensitive or whatever. And like, I think that it can guide you places. Like, the Force takes you and points you in the direction you need to go, like a destiny kind of thing. And I think that's how it was with her. Like, it needed to push her into fate as well. Again, she stumbles into fate, which is what the Force does. It pushes you in those directions. It gives you something. Now, as for her being able to like fucking do all this shit, she has to know what Jedi do. I mean, the legends have been around for years. At this point, Jedi haven't existed, even if you say with Luke Skywalker, for 30 years, and before that, 19 years, the entire group of Jedi wiped out of existence.
Yeah.
So, that's almost 50 years that she's only been alive for 20 something. So, but the knowledge has to be there. She has to know, hey, Jedi could grab shit with the Force and move shit with the Force and do all this other stuff.
And I was on board, like, when she first demonstrated her power, or when she did the whole convincing the guard thing, I was still on board at that point. And I was even still kind of on board when she blocked the persuasion from Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
But, like, when she really starts, like, when she fucking lightsaber battles this, Sith apprentice, this guy that's been actually trained and everything.
Yeah.
Like, when he's losing this fight, or when she forced
well, he
the
was
lightsaber
injured
off.
at that point, like,
but like
Finn did actually get a good hit on him, and that's what really pissed him off. Because I think during that fight, you look at Finn's face, he's scared shitless, but Kylo just sort of fucking one-handed, just like, oh, you want a fucking lightsaber fight? Okay, yeah, really funny, and just like toying with him. And then he gets a fucking lucky hit on. He's like, oh, no, fuck you, eat tree. And throws him into a fucking tree. and basically is about to kill him, but then it fucking takes Rey, again, strong in the Force. Luke Skywalker successfully, using the Force, basically, pilots a proton torpedo into the fucking 2 meter wide port on the Death Star to blow it up. That was fucking Force. That was the Force. That was fucking magic, and it was shown in the fucking scene that even an ace pilot couldn't fucking do it, because he got the first dude there fucking misses.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker turns his fucking targeting computer off and fucking nails the fucking shot.
Yeah.
That's like,
still
straight up
use
use
the
the Force.
over the course of 2 or 3 films. Then,
that was the course of one movie. Luke goes from not having any knowledge of the Force to fucking forcing a proton torpedo into a 2 millimeter wide hole.
That's also a single instance too, and there's like a lot of build up, and there's kind of some allusion to like he has this ability
in Force Awakens, though. It is over the course of that entire time. Yes, she picks up on a lot of shit, but you also have Kylo Ren stopping blaster bolts with the fucking Force.
But he's also a trained apprentice.
He's trained apprentice, yeah, and he's trained in not only in the light side, but also not only by Luke Skywalker, but also by this, Supreme Leader Snoke, whoever the fuck that guy is. So, he's got a lot of training and can do a lot of shit. But, what we don't know what the Force is like now, and they said the Force has been quote unquote dormant. For a while. So that's the whole point of the Force Awakening, is that I guess she, whatever her origin is, will probably explain a lot of this. And we have to wait another movie or maybe another 2 movies to figure that out. Because like the shit that's going on within that storyline is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see where they go.
Like I said before, there is a fuck ton of potential that can be really, really picked up on. It's going to be hard to screw it up.
Yeah.
Moving on. Kylo Ren.
I like him.
I liked him. Like in the trailers and everything, and with the mask and all that. I mean, he's just a fucking awesome. Really,
he is a presence with the mask.
Yeah. He really has everything a Sith Lord needs. He has a mask.
He's not
he
a
has
Sith.
black robe. Whatever.
He's not a Sith. He is
a Sith in training.
He is a Knight of Ren. He's a completely different thing. They are not Sith.
He's a fucking Sith.
They make it very clear he's not a Sith. He's just a bad guy.
The bad guy. He has everything a bad guy needs.
Yeah.
And it's really fucking awesome. Like he was really fucking cool and everything.
I like the fucking outfit that he has when he's not wearing the cloak. When it's just like that fucking, First Order outfit, but with the fucking helmet and shit. And it's just like, that's like fucking business casual Darth Vader,
I mean, but in the beginning of the movie, he stops the bolt, and like that's really fucking cool. And then his interrogation is super intense, and like that's something we've never really seen, but it's really cool.
Yeah.
And he's just turning out to be this really awesome dude, and he has a voice that I haven't fucking shivered at since Darth Vader.
It's very
like it's
weird.
A very penetrating fucking
it's
voice.
Like it's modulated in that right way that really gets you under your skin a little bit.
Yeah, it's a really awesome fucking just under your skin character that I really love.
Yeah.
And then he takes off the mask and throws a temper tantrum. And it's gone.
That's gone. Star Wars, though.
It's fucking gone.
That's Star Wars.
It's fucking gone. He took off the mask too early. That's my complaint.
His fucking uncle is like the whiniest kid in the fucking galaxy. We're going to the Tachi station to pick up some power converters. Like, that's Luke Skywalker. And then you have his fucking grandfather is fucking Anakin Skywalker, crybaby extraordinaire, who spent the last entirety of the third movie screaming and whining. Yeah. It's a completely normal Star Wars thing. But on top of that, he is a fucking tormented dude. And I think they could have played it differently. I agree.
That's what I was really getting at. Was like, if you're going to make him a tormented soul, I get it. You can totally make him...
But being tormented by the light side is an interesting idea. He is a guy who wants to be fucking dark and wants to be brooding, but he's like, fucking rainbows and kitty cats. That's his fucking life.
But what that does is that makes him your average emo teenager.
Well, it's interesting characterization, because I did like I don't know if you read the article I sent you, but the way that Austin Walker puts it out there, he's just like, he's a great audience surrogate for all those fucking neckbeard nerds out there on the internet who think they're fucking edgy and cool, making their rape jokes and talking about, you know, wanting to be a Nazi and hating black people, and I think it's so funny to say the N-word. But it's like, dude, this is what you are. You're a fucking whiny little kid.
I mean, that's cool. Put that in there, but don't make him fucking Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren's cool.
He
Kylo
is
Ren
cool.
should be
He's still
awesome.
cool, and he gets to be a fucking badass because he's all tormented and shit. But he fucking kills his dad, and after he kills his dad, he's like, "What's up, bitch? I'm gonna fucking kill you."
What, mate?
Like, he fucking just walks out there without the fucking mask. Just says, "I'm gonna fucking murder all these motherfuckers." And I don't give a shit. There's no whining. There's no fucking screaming and crying. He's just like,
I think
fuck
it would have
you,
been. I think
you
it
know?
would have been a lot more effective though if after he. I mean, yeah, you explained a really good point earlier, but I think it would have been more effective if I were directing it to with his mask.
I'll see what I can do.
Having his mask off.
They should have.
when he kills.
He should have only taken it off when he killed Han Solo.
He should have taken it off for the conversation with Han Solo, and then done the whole thing, killed him.
Put
and
the
then
mask back
made
on.
the decision, be like, "Yep, this is who I fucking am."
I think it's
I'm
more
dark
interesting
side
from
now.
a symbolic gesture, though, that he is a fucking this guy who really loves Darth Vader. Like, he's a fucking Darth Vader fanboy #1, and like, he's not a fan of Anakin Skywalker. He could give a shit less about Anakin Skywalker. 'Cause Anakin Skywalker's a fucking Jedi.
Yeah.
He doesn't care what Darth Vader became after he killed Darth Vader and went back
If
to
he
being
knows.
Anakin. I'm sure he knows. I mean, I'm sure Luke told him, you know, exactly what happened. I mean, then again, Obi-Wan didn't fucking tell Luke what happened, so there's no telling.
Considering
But-
the fan service.
Yeah. But at the same time, he at least knows that his grandfather is Darth Vader. Actually, no, he didn't know until Snoke told him. That was really the point. He knew that his grandfather was Anakin Skywalker. He didn't know his grandfather was Darth Vader until Snoke told him. That's what brought him to the dark side. He gets to learn all these things that his grandfather is. And he wants to continue his grandfather Darth Vader's plan, not Anakin Skywalker's plan. He doesn't give a shit about being a Jedi. He wants to be this dark, evil fucking dude because that's who his grandfather was. It's in his blood. And so he does all these things to pay homage to him. You know, he has a mask that looks kind of similar to his. He wears. He gets the fucking cloak. He gets his badass fucking lightsaber, and he does all these things and even fucking collects memorabilia from Darth Vader. You know, he has his fucking burnt helmet.
He's like an MLP fan, but for Darth
yeah,
Vader.
exactly. He's like a total brony, and like he does all these things because he wants to pay homage to him. And then when he confronts his dad, he takes the mask off, and he kills his own father with his bare hands with a lightsaber.
And that's kind of symbolic. Actually, I just thought about that. That's really good symbolism for when Luke and Vader were fighting, and he kills his father, so it's the other way around.
Right. But then he takes off his father's mask to bring him, you know, to Anakin Skywalker is back.
Yeah.
You know, you're speaking with Anakin Skywalker. Darth Vader is dead. Now, you know, Anakin's back. And but this is like the same thing, but in reverse.
Yeah.
Ben Solo is dead.
Yeah.
I don't need this mask anymore because I don't need to pretend that I'm this dark, evil motherfucker. I just killed my dad with my bare fucking hands. I did what I needed to do to take that next step into the dark side. I don't need these things that make people think that I'm a badass dark dude. I killed my own fucking dad with my bare hands, and now I'm going to fucking prove how much of a badass I am.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it was. It's really good, I think, in that sense. And I think, like, the whiny shit fucking stops now. Because there's no
really
more
hope so.
torment. There's no more torment. Because he did what he needed to do to push him to that next level.
Yeah.
Like, even Snoke said it's ready to continue to finish his training.
Yeah.
At the end of the movie.
What
So
that
it's
means
like,
is anybody's guess.
Exactly. But the whiny shit gets to stop. You got to see the entirety of Anakin Skywalker's fall, or his fall and his rebirth cycle in one fucking movie, basically. You know, like that's what you got with Ben Solo with Kylo Ren. Is you got the fucking Skywalker legacy continues on in the form of in Ben Solo and Kylo Ren. Like that's really interesting from a storytelling perspective. I mean, yeah, I do agree. There's plenty of pitfalls in that movie. Like I said, most of them come from J.J. Abrams.
Yeah. And a lot of it's pacing, and
Yeah.
I mean, there's
I
some
mean,
things
like-
that really couldn't be helped.
Like the fucking
the
ending.
only other
like, I was
thing-
super disappointed they blew up that entire planet for that one. Like, did you get to your fucking Death Star moment?
Yeah, that was
like,
the
it would
other
have been really
thing.
cool if they just disabled it and then got the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
and like really like put it in the disarray but didn't destroy it, because like that would have been cool. Like it'd be a good way to play on the Star Wars tropes, but then go another direction with it. You know, to be like, what if they didn't blow up the Death Star? What if they stopped it, or maybe put it into like put it behind really bad? But they didn't destroy it. And that's what I was hoping they would do, because this is a fucking cool looking place, a Star Killer base. They dug out this whole fucking planet, and it sucks up fucking suns and shit.
It's a really interesting concept, but what really, really killed it for me was, you had the tropes, then you had the rebel pilots, and then, okay, this is Death Star all over again. And then they fucking had the hologram thing. This is the Death Star.
This is Star Killer Base.
This is Star Killer Base. It's completely different.
Right.
And you're just sitting there like, it's exactly
Death Star.
the same. It's a fucking Death Star.
I guess you fly in, you shoot a fucking tiny hole, and you blow it up, right?
I mean, yeah, they didn't.
It was really cool the way
shoot
it
a tiny
worked,
hole.
because, you know, like, the whole point was like, hey, they got to go down here, they got to take the shields down, so that's a call back to Endor and the second Death Star. So they get to go. So now they get to go into the base and do all that shit. And originally the intention was, we're going to do bombing runs, blow up this thing after the shield goes down, and then we'll go in and we'll blow it up from the inside. Everything's done. Yeah. That didn't work out. But because Han Solo and Chewbacca planted all those charges, they were able to blow the hole. And since the thing was supercharged with the power of the entire sun, when they went in and blew it up, it blew the fuck up. Yeah. That's completely understandable from a technological, scientific standpoint. But from a storytelling perspective, it was really weak about it was that, think about the fucking end to Return of the Jedi. There are 3 simultaneously told climaxes during the end of Return of the Jedi. Yeah. You have the fucking Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader fight. You have the Lando Calrissian and the Rebel pilots going after Death Star 2, and you have Leia, Han, and Chewie and the Ewoks fighting the battle on the ground. Yeah. And they're telling all 3 of those at the exact same time.
And I think that was another failing in this movie with the pacing and all. They did a poor job on telling simultaneous
stories. They
stories.
just stayed way too long in one spot, and then like they did like cool badass fucking pilots coming in to take out the Star Killer base. Hell yeah. Oh, it didn't work. And then it's like 15 minutes of Rey, Finn, and Han and Chewie, and then it.
And they could have got the same amount of information
when they finally
in
get
like
what
a
it's
2-minute like
then
clip.
The pilots come back and blow it up. It's like, you could have added one other storyline, one other thread there, and then intersperse those things, and it would have worked really well. Yeah. But because they basically just lost that entire thread of the pilots until it was necessary for them to turn around and go back and try again, you know? Like, that was really weak. But again, that's all in the direction, that's all in the pacing and the storytelling, which were the weakest elements of the movie. Yeah. But it gets to get away with a lot of shit because it's a new Star Wars movie. Yeah. Considering that the other movies had no like the prequels had no pacing.
Literally, episode 2 was a Senate meeting.
Yeah, episode 2.
Episode for a minute.
Well, that was episode 3.
Oh, was that 3?
Yeah,
it was 3.
Episode 2 is like a lot of walking and talking and looking at computers, and then there's like a cool kind of fight at the end, and then the clones show up, and that's about it. Like, that's the entire movie. There's like, I can't even tell you like the plot of that movie. There is no plot to that movie. 3 is the only one that I think is watchable because like it's got a pretty decent plot to it. Yeah. Like, it starts in one place and ends in another, and it tells a story over the course of the movie that keeps you invested. 1 didn't have that. 2 didn't have that. You know, fucking looking back on it now, watching, like, I haven't watched A New Hope in a while, and should have watched them before I watched Force Awakens, but, you know, that's my problem. Going back and thinking about it, that movie just fucking moves. Oh, yeah. Like, the first Star Wars movie, like, you can go through that entire movie in your head, and you're just like, yeah, shit, it just goes scene after scene, like, point after point, and just fucking moves. Same with Empire Strikes Back. It just fucking moves. Biggest complaint, I love Empire Strikes Back. It's my favorite Star Wars movie. Biggest complaint about Empire Strikes Back is that it's so focused on Han, Leia, Luke that it doesn't give you any kind of like what's going on in the universe kind of stuff. Yeah. Like, what the hell's the rebellion doing during this time after getting their shit kicked in at Hoth? Where did they go? Yeah. You know, and how did they go from there to fucking what it was in episode, you know, what it was in Return of the Jedi? You know, like, And Return of the Jedi is the only one. I think that movie kind of has at points where it kind of stalls out. And that's when a lot of the middle stuff when it went to Endor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But overall, it's still a great movie. And I think that this movie did it right. It just fucking moves, you know? Like, there was not... I can still go through every single fucking plot point, every single scene that happened in The Force Awakens, because it sticks with you. It tells the right story. It tells them at the right time. It doesn't take any downtime to do any stupid shit that you don't need. You know.
They get a little... Some of it. But, you know, it doesn't do a very bad job of it.
I think they might have spent, like, a little too long on Jakku, maybe. I don't know. I feel like J.J. Abrams doesn't get, like, space travel.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he gets how to, like, pace a Star Wars movie when it comes to what happens in space. Because thinking about, like, A New Hope, they go from Tatooine, they're heading towards Alderaan. Alderaan gets blown up. They get tractor beamed into the Death Star. But that's a good chunk of that movie, you know, that's spent doing all that stuff. So where, you know, but with fucking Force Awakens, it goes, they go to Jakku, they get fucking tractor beamed by Han Solo, some shit goes down, they get out, they're fucking randomly at this new planet, they leave, go to another planet, then they leave and go to Starkiller Base, and it's just like...
Yeah, it's just like driving in town.
Yeah, exactly. Like, takes 2 minutes to get there. Like, no, that's not how it fucking works. That's not how Star Wars has ever been. That's another problem. But maybe these problems will be fixed in the next movie. They're minor fucking issues, in my opinion, because overall the experience was good. And I think the movie, as long as it's better than the prequels, that's all you really ask for. As long as it's better than what came out before it, it's all you could ask for.
Yeah.
I mean, if you expect the second coming of Jesus, you're going to be sorely disappointed. But, you know.
I think they do have the ability to make this as good as the original trilogy if they can redeem the character problem, the character and pacing problem.
There are some people out there who are going to be really disappointed if it falls in between.
Yeah.
Like, because, like, you know, the prequels are the other side of shit, you know? Like, if you pace them out on a fucking spectrum, it's shit and everything else is good.
Yeah.
So, but if they fall in between the worst of Star Wars and what you would assume is the best, which is the original trilogy, if they fall in between that, people are going to be disappointed. But it's like, what more could you really ask for?
Yeah.
You know? Like, those other movies have like 30 years of fucking history at this point that they've had to build up with fans, different generations of fans with the re-releases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of time to get the goodwill that they get. So these movies are going to come out, and if they blow people out of the water to the point that they are better than some of the movies in there, like if any of these movies are better than Jedi, which some people would argue that Force Awakens is better than Jedi.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't go that far, you know. I think it's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's like the fourth best Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
That's going to make people go like, what? It's supposed to be really good. No, it's like, but think about how good the other Star Wars movies are. Don't get fucking too crazy.
Don't get it twisted, bro.
Yeah. But, I mean, saying it's a fourth best Star Wars movie is still saying it's one of the better movies to come out this year.
Yeah.
You know, and it's one of the better Star Wars movies made because the other three are shitty.
Yeah.
So if it comes out and it's like, if any of these next two movies are better than the original trilogy in any way, that's a fucking win. That's a knockout of the fucking park, right?
Yeah.
Like, you fucking blew those. If you get Return of the Jedi, if you're better than Return of the Jedi, even if it's like just subjectively speaking, if somebody finds it better,
you fucking gold star.
Yeah, you did a good job.
You won.
But you also have on top of that, you have those Star Wars stories, those other movies that are coming out in between those. Because like this year, we're already getting a new fucking Star Wars movie. You know, like 2016, we're gonna have Star Wars Rogue One.
Yeah, I wonder where they're gonna go with that. Is there a plot out?
Yeah, it's stealing the plans for the original Death Star.
Oh, okay. So it's like a revert kind of.
Yeah. So it's like basically like how did they steal the plans for the original Death Star?
Yeah.
We know for the second Death Star that many Bothans died. That's all we know. for the first one, all we know is that somehow Leia had it and she gave it to R2-D2, and that's where the movie starts.
Yeah.
But where did she get it? Like, how did she get the plans?
And I really think they ought to do some more like Rebel pilot stuff because I really fucking love like.
I think they just need like more pilots, but I also would love to just see like cool bounty hunters, smugglers. All kinds of shit that don't fucking have anything to do with Jedi and Empire and Stormtroopers and all that. I want to see the universe breathe a little bit. That's what these extra movies get to do. They get to just show you what else is going on out there. Like, there's some cool fucking aliens in that fucking in Force Awakens. Like that fucking dude with the red suit that was in the bar that Finn was talking to when he was trying to get off the planet and leave, Rey and Han to do their thing. Like, those dudes, I'm just like, that guy's cool. What's he do?
I really fucking love the the kind of vernacular they use with I don't remember the girl's name, the short alien girl with the glasses.
Oh yeah, Maz Kanata.
Yeah. When she was talking about Chewie, he's like, "Where's my boyfriend?"
Yeah,
I like that Wookiee. And I was just like, I appreciate that. That's a cool.
I like the idea of them, giving. They gave Chewie a lot to do in that movie. I did see like a really sad comic that sort of just popped up today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just said Ben at the top, and it was Chewie playing with a young, like, toddler-age Ben Solo, and then, like, getting up to, like, his teens where he's getting kind of, like, tormented by everything, and then it flashes forward to Chewie watching Ben kill Han, and, like, he's aiming to take the shot, but he can't because that's fucking Ben. That's the kid he fucking basically helped raise.
Oh, that's brutal.
Like the other gay dad. And I was just like, that would explain why Chewie didn't immediately start fucking shooting that motherfucker, because he would have otherwise. But that fucking guy's got to be like his son, basically.
Let's end the podcast on a sad note.
Yeah. Well, we can end it on a happy note. Let's just say, Star Wars, it's good. Go watch it.
It is good. Definitely go watch it. I won't say it's better than any of the original trilogy.
It's better than prequels.
But it is better than prequels.
It's better than any Star Wars related stuff that's been out in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
That's saying much.
It's good, but it's not perfect, and I'm okay with that. I have problems with it,
more
but I don't
could you
hate
expect?
Yeah.
I think, that's just my biggest thing. If you expected the second coming of Jesus if you want, you're going to be sorely disappointed, but you shouldn't go into movies expecting that.
Yeah.
Like, shit. After some of the stuff I watched in 2015, because I watched fucking, like, did Avengers come out in 2015?
I don't even fucking remember.
Did that come out?
Probably.
Did that come out last year?
I don't remember much of last year.
I think it did
It's
come
just
out
a blur
last
of
year. Yeah, it came out
podcasting and
early
working.
last year, yeah. That movie wasn't very good. I didn't like the second Avengers movie. So, yeah. 2015, I didn't see very many new movies.
2015 was a weird year.
Yeah. It's like, it went really fast.
Yeah. I think it's going to keep doing that.
I think it's just as we get older. Yeah, it's like, years just don't
2016? That was like 3 years ago.
Yeah. Like, it's already like, what? The 10th of January.
Yeah.
I feel like it was just yesterday I was at Champagne Jam.
Yeah.
Like...
All right, that's it for the SOGOpod today, you guys. Don't forget to go liking all that shit in Facebook.com/SOGOpod. Go to SOGOpod.com. Go to Twitter.com or whatever the hell.
Twitter.com.
The SOGOpod.
Yeah.
Go check us out on Twitter and all that shit. Video Game Fiends on Facebook. It's a cool group. You should go there. What else we got?
Yeah, check out some Butts and Seats. Check out some other things that are on the internet.
Go to YouTube.com. I heard it's a really cool site.
Brazzers.com.
X and XX is actually my personal favorite.
X Hamster, X Video,
RedTube, XTube, YouPorn,
Pornhub.
Good night, everybody.
Hi, yes, the steak, please. I'm the Yelp elite. All right, we got a Yelper. Give it that special attention. You got it. So you're one of Yelper's special blessed. You demand a restaurant's very best. Well, they're gonna treat you special. I'm telling you, chum. Now get yourself ready for some boogers and cum. Boogers and cum. That's called the Yelper Special. Boogers and cum. Say, what's that on your pretzel? Your online critiques are real useful to some. Now have a good time eating boogers and cum. Boogers and cum. Someone farted on your salad. Boogers and cum. But your decor critiques are valid. You think you're special like you're A number one? Well, there's a whole lot of special in boogers and cum. Boogers and cum. How about some feces with your flounder? Boogers and cum. You like that queefy quarter pounder? What's that spice that feels tangy on my tongue? Oh, that's a yuzu pepper, along with some boogers and cum.
Here you are, sir. Thank you, David. That's good service. I will bring you food every day, my friend. Is that a jalapeno cream sauce? Yes, my father made it just for you. It's tart but savory.
Being a food critic's easy. Oh, you feeling a little queasy? Do you need a diagnosis? Well, the doctor's got one. Your stomach seems to be filled with boogers and cum. Piss in your potatoes. Some guy shit on your tomatoes. All right, fancy food critic, looks like you've won. Now please enjoy all the boogers. Boogers. And come.